Hello and welcome to this webinar, Defining My Ideal Client. I just want to start by thanking you for being here. And well, before we start, just a couple of things for you to consider. Please mute your microphones. There will be a Q&A session at the end. You can type the questions on the chat and I will answer them at the end of the presentation. You can turn on your camera if you want, just to engage a little bit more. Write down anything in the chat, as I mentioned, and you can leave the event at any time if you need to. I know that life happens and sometimes we need to go away. No problem. Also, this webinar is being recorded and will be used for marketing purposes and content creation. Okay, so who we are. We are a Canadian company located here in Surrey with a multicultural team with clients from Canada, the US, and Mexico. Our main goal is to share our know-how and generate value for our clients by creating their online presence. This is the summary. These are the topics that we are going to be covering. Defining the ideal client, why it's important, target market versus target audience, steps to define your target market, steps to define an ideal client examples, where to start, and then the Q&A. What's an ideal client? Well, an ideal client is that person or company that you will love to work with. It is someone that has that spark that creates or that makes the process a lot easier. They tend to contribute along the process of the service or the purchase. They're in constant communication, they give you feedback. It's that ideal client, that person that you are, person or business that you are excited to work with. This is also someone that finds the perfect solution to their problems or needs in the services or products that your company offers. So it's like the perfect match. That is why it's called the ideal client. Why is it important? Well, it's important to know who your ideal client is so you can aim your services and products and your marketing efforts to them. We are used to create something, a product and a service, and then tend to find someone that is interested in what you just created. That can be done, but it's not that really efficient. So if you do it the other way around, well, you are able to find those traits, those features that people are looking for in products and services, and you incorporate those into what you are creating and offering. That way that process goes a lot smoother. When you don't know who to market to, well, you end up marketing to everybody, which, yeah, it's a recipe for failure. Like, our resources are limited, right? Especially when we're starting a business. So you need to make sure that you are creating as big as an impact as possible with the budget that you are allocating to marketing. And in order to do that, well, you need to start to making sure that your ads, your message is being shared with the right people. On the other hand, by thinking of ways to solve your current problems, you can have a better quality of service and products. Like, it's about properly identifying those pain points that you're trying to tackle, so that way it's going to be a lot easier to share the value of your solution because you understand the problem. It's not a generic solution, because you have either that you have experienced that on yourself, or you did your homework, your research. What that product or service is really going to solve the problem that your clients are experiencing. Now, what is the difference between target market and target audience? Well, these two terms are often mixed and mistaken, but no. A target market is a specific, defined segment of consumers that a company plans to serve with its products or services. The target market is your ideal client, that general level that you are aiming for. A target audience, it's a group that has significant potential to respond positively to a brand message. A target audience is a group within the target market, and you are defining those traits like demographics, interests, age, income, status, marital status, like all those little traits that are going to help you pinpoint more or tailor more your message. That's when you are creating a target audience. But the target audience belongs to the target market. Now, what steps do we need to follow to create your target market, your ideal client? Let's start with that. One, research your market. Like doing your homework, getting those numbers and data helps you understand what it's a common problem or what your potential clients are needing, therefore making or helping you take those marketing decisions. So research your market. Like you may have the idea of like, yes, everybody wants red t-shirts, so I'm going to make red t-shirts. But that's just an idea. Like, do you have any numbers to back that up? Because if you spend all your money creating red t-shirts and suddenly, no, it turns out that the target market wants white t-shirts, you just wasted a lot of your resources. Next, segment your market. Divide them into groups of buyers with similar preferences and buying habits. Like once you start figuring out what type of people, companies you are aiming for, try to group them. That way it is better. It makes it easier for you to see those habits, those traits that they have. So you can start creating audiences based on those segments. Next, well, define your target audience. Well, yeah, in this part is like, okay, I did my target, my market research. I know who I'm aiming for. Okay, I'm starting to group them based on these traits. Let's start defining a name to that group. And how do you do that? Okay, some questions. Male or female? Age? Where do they live? Demographics, be specific. Education level? What do they do for a living? Average income? All these traits are things that are going to help you do three things. One, adjust your message to the proper tone. It is not the same to share a message to someone that is 22 years old than to someone that is 45 years old, right? Two, tune that the way you present the message to create like a better to resonate with them, right? Graphics, visuals, font, colors, all that. And three, marketing. When you start doing ads, all these questions are points that platforms ask you to fill, like for instance Facebook, Google, etc. So you make sure that your ad is appearing to the right people. Like imagine that you are selling red t-shirts in LA, California, right, in the US. And if you did not set up this, well, your ads can show or can be shown to someone in London, UK, or in Japan. Like you like, unless you do international shipping, yeah. Otherwise, like if you're a little store that is just starting and all that, it will consume your budget. So you make sure that you're defining your target audience so it's clear who you are aiming for. Next, once that you have defined all those traits, understand their interest and buying habits. Again, some examples. What motivates them to make a purchase? Is it because it's a seasonal, it's a specific season, Christmas, for instance, or birthdays, or because it's a trend that everybody needs to have a red t-shirt? Like what motivates them to make that purchase? What are their common interests? Like maybe they're looking for a red t-shirt because they love the color red, or because they identify with the Manchester United team. I don't know. Who makes the buying decision? That's also something really important, especially when you're dealing with businesses. It's a lot more tricky in there. Yes, you can start talking with someone, and when you present your proposal, the price and all that, and then you face that wall. Oh, okay, let me ask my boss. Oh, okay, let me ask my mom or my partner or my uncle or whatever. Then all the time that you invested converting that lead into a client, it is most likely that either will have to be redone, like with the decision maker, or that your message will be distorted and then you may lose. So just make sure that you are talking with the right person that makes the decision. How often do they purchase a product or service? Like, are they looking for someone that is long-term, short-term? Like, do they buy this like every weekend? That helps you tune, like, when are you going to reach to them? Do they shop online or prefer traditional buying methods? How long does it take to them to make a buying decision? All these things all these questions are going to help you understand and have an idea of how fast this lead is going to move through your funnel to become a client, right? There are people that take months to make a decision. It also has to be what are they buying? If they're buying a house, yes, it's going to take a lot more time. If they are buying a sandwich, it may be faster, right? So if you're able to understand this, you will have a better idea or how long the process is going to take and how much effort you're going to have to put into specific steps along the way, okay? Steps to define an ideal client. Do's and don'ts. These are just like quick tips that will help you properly understand and define that ideal client. The first, what problem your business solves. Like, if it's not well defined, it is going to be harder for you to convince someone that the solution that you're offering is going to really solve their problems. For instance, I sell pencils, right? The problem that I'm trying to solve is that people need pencils. There you go. So yes, that is a general approach and okay, but what if you switch the narrative and say, I'm not only selling you a pencil, I'm selling you a pencil that is not going to break, that you can use to write, I don't know, underwater, and that will be always there for you when you have that great idea. So you are attaching common problems that people may have while using pencils. We all hate when you are writing or using a pencil that it breaks, the tip breaks. So you have to like, Two, maybe you need to write reports underwater because you are a scuba diver or whatever. So finding a pencil that works underwater is really hard, okay? And three, you tend to lose your pencil either because someone grabbed it, you forgot it at home. Like when you start attaching those traits, yes, you sell pencils, but you are tackling those problems that your target audience has. So by understanding the problem that you're trying to solve with your business, it is a lot better to create that message that will engage people, okay? Another thing, like why should people buy you from you instead of your competitors? Like what makes you different? And that part, it's an interesting thing because there are like three main ways that you can differentiate from your competitors. One is the price. Like if you are able to offer the same quality at a lower price, that's your competitive advantage. That is one, price. Two, service. If yes, your product may be a little bit more expensive than the competition or more expensive than the competition, but you are able to provide that level of service that really helps the client and that client feels like comfortable, they will go with you. Like for instance, one of the things that Disney is really good at in their parks is that their employees like really know what they're doing and have excellent customer service support level. So yeah, it doesn't matter that the ticket to go to Disneyland costs like $100, $150. You know that you're going to have a good time. Like, yes, the lines will be really long and all that, but the atmosphere that they are creating, that's what makes you decide to go to Disney versus another park, right? And the third one, innovation. If you are offering something that is disrupting the market, well, you are the only one that is offering that. Example of that will be Tesla a couple of years ago. They presented that innovation. They became the kings on that segment. Now they have a lot more competition, so they're trying to offer different things, but yeah, innovation. Okay. Next, research and identify your best customers. Okay. Again, do your homework. Understanding their personal traits, interests, demographics, what you like about them. If I'm trying to convince someone that I can truly be the solution or give them the solution to their problem, you need to be able to share the message in a way that they understand, or like in their language, and sustain that with facts. Like, for instance, we do web design, right? So if I tell them like, yes, we are going to offer you a hosting server that has 4 gigabytes of RAM, 2 cores for the CPU, you are going to have blah, blah, blah. I will lost the interest of most of my clients. However, if I tell them like, yes, you are going to have a hosting where your site is going to load really fast, like under 2 seconds, it will be up like 99.9% of the times, and well, you won't have any potential issues the midterm, long term. That is something that is the same, like the core is the same, but I'm sharing it in a different way. Okay, so by understanding those traits, that language, you will be able to adjust the tone of your message, to use those keywords that will click with those target audiences. Okay, the characteristics, also stick to your target market. We sometimes have a target market that we like. For instance, you can we have like a couple of articles and material that you can look or use, but for instance, if you don't have a target market defined, but you are already selling your products, what you can do is take a look and, well, see those common traits among your current customers, and you will find them. Like, you may see that, yes, I'm selling pencils to doctors, nurses, real estate agents, students, whatever, right? It's hard to see a pattern, but then you will find that thing that they share. Maybe is the age, maybe is the location, like all those clients are buying from this location or around this area. Maybe it's the time, maybe it's what they're using the pencils for. Things like that will help you polish your target market, so you truly understand who you are attracting. Okay, that doesn't mean that you are only going to work with that target market. Yes, you will come across customers that are not 100% matched to your target market, but there may be like a 60% or 50% match. You will come across clients that are like a 10-20% match, and you will decide, do you work with them or move along? Because also sometimes when working with those clients that are not a match of your target market, it can make the process a lot harder. Customer feedback. Now, customer feedback, it's a really powerful way to improve your process. Either the selling process, the customer support process, the after purchase process, all those things that people tell you along the journey is really helpful to tweak. Like, for instance, we have been using a toll-free number a couple of, like, for 3-4 months now, a little bit more. And we have clients telling us that number is being flagged as potential scam by certain carriers in the US. So if we didn't know that, we weren't able to work on a solution, right? Or for instance, when we are asking for people to share with us the images that they want to use for the website, for the gallery, sometimes since there are a lot of images and we need them in high quality, sending them through an MMS or an email is like really hard, and it made the process like really hard. So what we did was, okay, we heard that, now we send them a link, they click that link, they upload, there you go. So analyze the feedback. Yes, there will be feedback that is being created by emotions, or like maybe I had a really bad day and my food took 5 more minutes than usual, and then it's your fault, and I put the blame or my whole day into those 5 minutes, right? That's something that can happen. But like that is why it's important to truly analyze the feedback that you're getting from your customers. And next, build a customer profile. This is a way of you to be able to consolidate all those traits, all those things, to have that blueprint of this is the ideal client that we want to work with. This is the people, the businesses that we are going to attract. So make sure that you truly understand them. And once you see the blueprints that is like in the next slide, well, you will understand like all the little things that you need to fill. We use, there is a free tool from HubSpot. It's Persona Creator, or HubSpot Persona Generator. And you will see something like this. A persona is when you have your target market, you define it into, or group it into a target audience, and then you put a name to it. And by I mean, like yes, my target audience is real estate agents in Orange County. No, like go deeper and like put a face to the name, like create a person. Like for instance, you can see 2 examples in here. Yes, on the left we have Daniel Smith. He's an industrial engineer, 45 years old. He has a master's. Those are the social networks that he uses. He's in the automotive industry. He's working for a corporation. They prefer to interact with you using the phone, the chat. He's located in Vancouver. Job responsibility. Like, see this level of detail? Like, getting to this point, yes, it will take a lot of time, because it's not like you can sit down with the client like, okay, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. Please give me all the answers, right? Like, it's not an interview or an interrogation, right? It's something that you are going to be picking along the way. Along this journey, the customer journey, you're going to be feeling these things, right? Some of these squares, you can get them by doing your homework. For instance, job responsibilities, you can have an idea of that. Tools they need to do to do their job, that's also something that you can find with research. Annual income, you can have an average. Goals of an objectives, that is something that you discuss along the customer journey. Biggest challenges, that is something that you will feel along the conversation. Location, you can do that with research. Method of communication, that is something that you will feel along the way. So yeah, these squares, there are some squares that are tied to your target audience, and there are other squares that are tied to the process that you use to move leads along the funnel. For instance, we use preferred method of communication because we want to be in constant contact with our clients, right? Some people like to receive a call, others is like an SMS, others like an email, whatever, right? Biggest challenges and goals and objectives, it is something that is really important for you to understand. So that way, everything that you are doing for them is being aimed towards solving those 2 things, like meeting the goals, okay? Helping them achieve those goals, and making those challenges easier to accomplish, okay? On the right, that's another example of another buyer persona, Claudia Summers. marketing coordinator, 34 years old. She has a master's. Those are all the social networks that she uses. That's the industry, the corporation. She works in a corporation. And again, the information that we're filling in there is different. Like, yes, the method of communication in this case is similar, but in this case, Claudia is located in LA, California. Her annual income is lower. The tools are different. Like, again, those little differences between your target audiences or your personas are going to help you really tailor the messages that you share with them. Really create a campaign, a marketing campaign, or even the content that you're publishing in social media. Really, really, really tailor it so it resonates with them. Okay, I see some questions in the chat. We are almost there for the Q&A. Just give me a couple of minutes to reach that slide. Okay, so where should you start? First, start with that definition of your ideal client. Make it like, imagine that you're creating a list for Santa Claus. Like, yes, just start. Yes, I want them to pay in time. I want them to answer my emails or give me the feedback fast. I want them to get involved during the process. Or maybe not. I want them just to pay me and wait for the product, and that's it, right? Define those traits that are important for you and for the business process, the sales process, the marketing process. All those things, create a list. Okay, I want my ideal client to have all this. Okay. Next, now that you have that list, create your target market. Start shaping it into something coherent, right? Because you cannot have an ideal client that you cannot have an ideal client that is a real estate agent and that is a restaurant owner and that is surgeon, right? Like, those are professions, yes, but remember, you are talking about a target market. The target market is something more broad. When you reach the target audience, yes, you can start adding professions, demographics, age, and all that, but the target market needs to be the core. Okay, what traits from that list of your ideal client belong to the target market, and what traits belong to the target audience? Traits that belong to the target market, they constantly involve in the creation process. Okay, that is a trait. Or they always are on time for the online meetings. They give great feedback, or they are starting a business, or they are expanding to a new segment in the business, or they are introducing a new product. Those specific situations are the ones that are attached to your target market. Okay, now once you created that target market, you need to segment it. Okay, now let's start grouping that. Okay, I'm talking about someone that is starting their business, that is new to the country, that is young, and you start shaping it until you reach that point where you have a target audience. When you have a target audience, you are at that stage of having the starting to have the buyer's persona. You will have the industry, you will have the age, you will have the gender, you will have the profession, industry profession. You will have their, like, what they like, what they don't like, the platforms that they use, stuff like that are going to help you run a campaign more efficiently. Okay, so the target market is broad. You are attaching traits that will make the process easier into there. Okay, your ideal target market, And the target audience is when you are attaching or defining a lot more that target market. Okay. The next part, the point 5, recognize their pain points. That is going to be the most challenging one from this list. Why? Because in order to make sure that your target market and target audience match your product or your offering, you need to understand what problem they're trying to solve. Okay? For instance, let's use the GoPro cameras. Those little cameras that people use to record these like extreme sports and stuff like that. The core of their solution is that they offer a shock and waterproof camera that has a small size with great quality. If you strip all the marketing, that is the product. That is that little thing, okay? However, the problem that they are trying to solve is what makes GoPro. They are trying to solve having something that is practical to use in those quick/extreme situations. Like if you're skiing, you don't want to have like a big camera or even a cell phone, right? Because you need to have your hands free because you're skiing, okay? So they came up with all these features that allow the camera to be attached to the chest or to the helm, right? Stuff like that. So the problem that they're trying to solve is like it needs to be practical to use in sports situations. It needs to be resistant, because if you are doing motocross or like I don't know, kayaking or stuff like that, if you use a cell phone, it's gonna break, right? You need something sturdy, something that will last, and if it breaks, it's going to be easier to repair. Okay, and 3, it needs to be able to deliver that quality in those fast-paced moments. Okay, like if you are doing X-trail hiking, or if you're doing like motocross and you're doing really fast, or like drifting or rallying, or all those were like really, really fast, you need cameras that are able to capture every single frame correctly to recreate that experience. So if you see, like, the core of the solution could be applied to a lot of things, but the problems that they are trying to solve, it's what makes GoPro. It gives them those characteristics to that product. Okay. Now, in your case, you have your target market, your ideal client, target market, target audience. What pain points that target audience has? There will be pain points that you won't be able to solve because it's beyond the scope of your product or service. But those that you are able to solve, once you identify them, you will be able to define a solution for those pain points. Okay? Point 6. Yes. For instance, I may not be able to offer them a small size camera. I may not be able to offer them easy to repair device, but what I'm able to offer them is a service to edit all those videos into wonderful things. So you are recognizing that there are pain points that are beyond your offering, but you focus on that other pain point that is like, yes, I'm taking all this footage, it needs to be great quality, and at the end of the day, I need to create something with it. And that's when you come along. Okay. Another example, let's use event planners as a target audience. Pain points that they may have: they need to create a portfolio to display their uniqueness, their expertise. They need to have the tools to coordinate meetings with other third-party suppliers to make it easier. They need to be able to document all the process to make sure that everything stays in the budget and all that. You see, like, there are different pain points. So are you able to offer them a way to track all the spending? No, that's beyond you. Okay. Are you going to offer them a way to coordinate meetings easily with those third parties? No, that's not. But what I can do is offer them an amazing way to display that portfolio. There you go. Okay. And finally, tune and keep improving. Progress, not perfection. That is what is really, really, really important. Yes, the more time that you invest doing your research for target market, target audience, and pain points, the rest is going to be a lot more smoother. However, you may also find yourself in that loop of research, tweaks, research, and you never launch. And time passes, you're wasting resources, you're wasting money, and when you're running out of money, well, you get desperate. So, progress, not perfection. Yes, reach a stable point, not the perfect point that you would like, but a stable one, and test it. Test it. And that way you will see if you are following the right track or if you need to go back to the whiteboard and erase some parts, add others. But yeah, that's the key to launch something new. Progress, not perfection. Okay, and with that, let's start tackling those questions. Let me just collect them. Okay. What is the difference between an ideal client and a target audience? The target audience, it's a group within the ideal client. An ideal client may have different target audiences, but a target audience can only belong to one ideal client. The ideal client is that group of people or businesses that you want to work with, that ignites that spark, that has those traits that makes the process go a lot smoother. And the target audience is when you really define the ideal client. When you start saying like, yes, this is the age range, they live here, this is the industry, this is their name, this is what they like. When you start doing that, shaping it more, it becomes a target audience. Should I only focus on my ideal client for my marketing efforts? It is not recommended because the ideal client is the core of your marketing efforts, yes. But if you don't add the traits of a target audience, you are going to be sharing that core with people that may not qualify or that may not be interested in your services. Let's say that I'm offering a gardening service for people that just had a baby and they don't have time to take care of the garden because of the baby, right? So if I can create a marketing campaign using that ideal client, but then my ads may appear in Las Vegas or Arizona or in another country or with people that are like really young and don't have the budget to pay for it, right? So you need to make sure that you have those traits so you are maximizing the impact of your ads or your marketing. Does that make sense? Okay. Could you give examples of a target market and its target audience? Okay. Let's think of one quickly. A target market will be people that just graduated from college, that are starting a business that is focused on creating online content, mainly videos. That is the target market. Okay? They just graduated from college, they want to start a business, and they want to focus on creating content for online platforms. Okay. Target audience when you use the target audience, you will say, okay, my first target audience is going to be females from 22 to 26 years old that live in California that want to create online content for TikTok. Okay, right? You see how that is a lot more shape? Another target audience will be males from 20 years old to 25 that they just graduated from college and want to start creating content for LinkedIn, so they are perceived as a lot more professional. Okay, see how the approach changes by just adding those traits from the target audience. Okay, why is it important to define if the target audience is male or female? Okay, in some cases it affects the tone and it affects the design. Due to cultural presets, it tends to be perceived that women prefer more stylish and refined traits in the design, while males, they want something that is a little bit more rough, a little bit more tough, right? Again, cultural presets. It all depends what you're offering. So there may be cases where it doesn't matter if it's a male or a female, because your service can offer or can cover both, right? But if you are offering, I don't know, wax to take care of the beard, that is something that is a lot more or highly likely to be bought by males, by people with beards, than females. There may be a case or a use case where females can use that for something else. I don't know, but that is why it's important to limit it, because you want to make sure that you are attracting the people that are more likely to buy your services or products. What platforms, tools do you recommend to research my business competitors? Google, Google for the win. If you type your industry, gardeners near me, or web design near me, or landscaping, or real estate agents, or whatever near me, you will see a lot of results that are appearing. You will see the ads at the top, and then you will see people that are doing SEO correctly. So that can give you an idea of what they're doing, so you can replicate. That is one. Two, if you belong to the target audience that you are trying to attract for a service, check the ads that you are seeing, because other companies are currently identifying you as their target audience, and that can help you to do like some sort of reverse engineer. That works as long as you belong to the same target audience that you are trying to attract for your product and services. What else? There are a lot of government platforms that you can use to collect data that is available to the public, and mainly it's Google and the ads that you are seeing. The customer profile, do you suggest to create it on a specific platform or just in a Word and make a design? I'm guessing that you are talking about the buyer's persona. You can use the free template from HubSpot. That's like really easy to use. It's a wizard with steps and all that. But if you don't want to use it because you want to work it without internet, or maybe just write it down and all that, that's okay. Remember, progress, not perfection. So yeah, don't worry about the design. The design is something more internal in this case. As long as it makes sense and it's easy to understand for you, go for it. Is the buyer persona tool you mentioned free? Yes. HubSpot will ask you your email to be able to generate it, and you may receive some marketing emails from them. You cannot subscribe, but yes, it's free. What contact channels do you believe is the best when asking for customer feedback? It depends on the customers. Again, going back to those communication channels that we saw, in the buyer's persona, there are people that prefer to talk, like on a call or face-to-face. So while you are talking with them, or when you are closing the project, just ask them and they will tell you and you will write down. There are other people that prefer to receive an email or an SMS with a link for a form that they can fill because they are busy, or maybe it's not the right time when you are delivering the project, so you will wait 2-3 days and send them that link. So it depends on your target audience and it depends on the customer person. Okay, I think this is it. Yes? Any additional questions? Oh, okay. Now, just to close, we have an amazing subscription programs. In this platform, the Tribe, we've been creating tailored content that will be useful for you. Golden Nuggets, those are like 2-3 minutes videos with condensed concepts, templates, guides, and more. Like you can check it in that link, thetribe.rjthenomad.com. Each month we are releasing new content that can help you, and we already have some golden nuggets and PDFs that you can use for target market and target audience. Yeah, I hope you like it. Finally, thank you for being part of our event. We hope that you have enjoyed. Any feedback is welcome. You can find us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. That is our website, and that is our email. So if you don't have any additional comments, thank you for being here and see you next time.